Hi, welcome to Maths Clinic series. In this video, we are looking at plane geometry 1. Now, get your pens, pencils, calculators, your notebooks ready for today's lesson. Remember that this is not just a mere video to watch and relax, but it's a video that you're supposed to learn alongside with. So get all your materials. If this is the first time of you learning this course, you need to jot some points and some notes down so that you can use it for further studies. Now let's look at the objective for this part of the video. Because this is a very complicated topic, I've put it into pieces so it will be very easy for you to flow with. Now the first video, or this very first video, our objective is to learn and then to explain the meaning of the word plane. Because we're going to deal with plane geometry, you should understand what the meaning of plane is and what is plane geometry. Then define a line, identify the differences we have between categories of line, and then we might also learn how to differentiate between coplanar and collinear points. Now the first definition that we have here has to do with plane geometry as a whole topic. It's a branch of geometry. Saying it's a branch of geometry because we also have other geometry that we have to learn, like coordinate geometry, like solid geometry. And so plane geometry is a branch of the geometry as a big topic that deals with properties of plane figures, and that is what you have to take note of. Plane figures. And then also we can see that plane geometry deals with objects that are flat, such as triangles, circles, lines that can be drawn on a flat piece of paper. Right, so all these are examples of plane figures we are going to consider in the whole course called plane geometry. For circles, we might consider circles detailed under plane geometry too, to look at some theorems of that. So the first word we want to think about is the word plane. My question is, what is a plane? You can pause the video, think about it for a moment. You've been hearing the word plane, plane, plane. What really is plane? Right, I believe you came up with something very close to this. In geometry, I'm defining the plane in geometry. In geometry, a plane is a flat surface that extends forever in 2 dimensions but has no thickness. Okay, so plane geometry normally deals with plane figures that have got 2 dimensions. And so in the future, when someone asks you what is plane figure, we can say it's a figure with 2 dimensions. And 2 dimensions simply means it has only length and breadth. So either it goes length like this or that. And if it's this and this are the same, this and this are also the same. If I have a plane figure like this, I still have only 2 dimensions. Circle has got 2 dimensions. So we saw that from the series of this that I gave you. All these are 2-dimensional figures, so we call them planes. So, and in real life situation, we can see a field like this as a plane figure or a plane surface. It's a plane. It's infinitely long, infinitely wide, and it's flat. And so normally our rows can be considered as plane. We can have a plane in a room, maybe your carpet, on top of your carpet, or on the floor we can think of plane. On top of a table we can think of plane. Right, so all these things are examples of plane. Good. Now the next word I want you to think about is point. The question is, what is a point? Pause for a while and then think about it. Now when we talk of points, we say a point is a precise location or a place on a plane, usually represented by a dot. Point is not a dot. We normally represent point by dot. Point is a place. Where I'm seated right now is a place in a particular area. Where you are now watching this video is a place in a particular town. where you position your item on a table, that place become a point. And so when we look at Ghana, currently I'm located on the plain of Ghana in central region. So that's the point of my reference. And so point is just a place that an item can be positioned. Okay, if you understand point by this definition, it will help you a lot in this very course. And so I can see this is a plane, this is a point, this is a point, this is a point. You understand? A meeting place of something, or a place where an item can be positioned. So this is a plane with a ball on a plane. So that ball has got a place on the plane. In Cartesian plane, we can also demonstrate how we can locate points on a plane. If I have x and y axis labeled with dimensions, I can locate this particular point here, and this is a point on a place or a point on a plane, right? It means that I can locate this point if I move on the x-axis 2 units and move on the y-axis 3 units. I can locate this very point, and that's beautiful. So note this, that it is important to understand that a point is not a thing but a place. Very important. We indicate the position of a point by placing a dot with a pencil or a pen or anything. And note also that a point has no dimension. Good. So we are still dealing with points, right? Now there's one thing we have to also understand, that when we have series of points lying on the same straight line, we normally call this set of points collinear points. So if a set of points lie in the same straight line, we call collinear points. So all these points are collinear, right? So example can be this. If we have this map and we have these countries, let's say a country like Germany, India, and then Indonesia, on the map you realize that, and even Australia, you realize that they are on the straight line. That means they are places on the planet or on the earth is straight, and for that matter we see them as collinear country. Okay, so their place on the map is as such, and I think the geography student will explain this better. Now this is a field or a pitch for basketball, and we can see locations, and we can also see that some points are straight. Let's say the locations of all these are on a straight line, so it means they are also collinear places or collinear points. Then there's another word we have to understand called coplanar. Coplanar. What it means is that if I consider the whole of this as a plane surface, and we position points on the plane, we say all the points are coplanar. That means they are just on a plane. They are not necessarily on a straight line. They are on a plane. So you can see if the board here is a plane, right, then the position of the blue dots are coplanar, or the knobs are also coplanar. And you can see here also coplanar. That is, all the balls on the field or on the floor on the ground are coplanar. Good. Now the last word we need to understand before we end this video is the word line. And because we are dealing with plane geometry, we are going to draw a whole lot of lines. And so what is a line in the first place? Some people, you hear people say line is a distance between 2 points. Well, that is not enough to define a line with. Now I'm going to give you a definition that has to do with geometry. And since we are dealing with plane geometry, in geometry we define a line as a geometrical object that is straight, infinitely long, and infinitely thin. That is the definition I've been able to gather from sources, and it's what I'm giving you now. So in geometry, once again, we say that a line must be straight, it has no thickness, it extends in both directions without end. So you drawing this, calling it a line, technically it's not a line, because it has a beginning, it has an end, so we can't call it a line. If you want to make a line or you want to draw a line, then show with an arrow to show that it's a line, because the arrow tells you that it has no beginning, it has no end. That makes it a line. If you draw this, what will be the name of this? I'll show you very soon. So the next word to understand is line segment. I told you I'm going to explain what line segment is to you, or what, if I draw this, what is the meaning of this? If it is straight, now it's scared because I use my hand to draw it. If it is straight, will we call it line? Rather call it line segment. And so we see line segment is the part of a line that connects 2 points. So if you say a line is the connection between 2 points, then you are defining line segment, not just line. Okay, it has definite end points, so that is what we call line segment. I start it, I will end it. But where I start, it has no end, or it has no beginning, then we call it line. So that's the difference between line and line segment. Then there's another word we need to understand called ray. And when we talk of ray, a ray also is a line that starts out at the point and continues up to infinity. So there will be a starting point for it, but it has no end, and that is a ray. So you see the difference between a ray, a line, and a line segment. Good. Now let's see this. So the demonstration of that, talk of line, this is a line because this one has no beginning, it has no end. The 2 points here are just points on the line. You see that the line is infinite, it will go on and on. But look at ray. Ray, it will start, but it has no end. You can see that. Then the final one is line segment. You see this one, it has beginning, it has end. So with this, we come to the end of video 1. I believe you've been able to identify the difference between lines, categories of lines. You know what a plane is now. You know what a point is. You cannot define collinear points. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching.